when you get an audition, and I touched on this earlier, how are you thinking? And you want to be thinking as a hero. You want to see yourself as the hero of your own life. And so maybe I should take a second and say, what is a hero? All of us play 4 roles in our lives, and there's 4 roles in every story, at least 4 roles. There's a victim, there's a hero, there's a villain, and there's a guide. The victim is someone who has given up, all hope is lost, they've been wronged, they've been offended, they've been hurt, they've had things taken away from them, all hope is lost, they've lost, it's over, it's done. And all of us in our lives have been there. Someone has wronged you, someone rear-ended you, and it certainly wasn't your fault, and you feel like a victim. But being the victim is always the weakest choice, as Tom Todoroff always says. And being a victim, it might get you some things short term, gets you some empathy, gets you some sympathy, might get you some condolences, but it ultimately doesn't get where you want in life. There's the villain, of course. The villain, what's the villain do? The villain makes people feel small. The villain hurts people. The villain takes things from other people, usually because they didn't get enough hugs themselves. But occasionally we're all, hopefully not regularly, but all of us at some point have been a villain and done some hurtful things and or said some hurtful things. There's the hero, though. And who is the hero? The hero is a regular person, just like us. We're all humans. We're all born, I think. None of you are built. None of you were conceived by immaculate conception. We're all regular humans, regular DNA, born on Earth. And the hero is faced with a challenge that they're not ready to overcome. They don't have the skills to overcome it. Daunting. Think about Luke Skywalker and who's his villain? Darth Vader. Well, when you first meet Luke, he's not a Jedi. He doesn't have any of the skills. He doesn't have a lightsaber. He doesn't have one of them fancy guns. He doesn't have a spaceship. He's a farmer. He's farming water on Tatooine and repairing robots. But he's faced with this situation where he's got to be the guy. So what does he do? He goes to his guide, Yoda, in Dagobah, starts to learn to become a Jedi, and then was like, all right, I know what I need to know. I'm going to take down Darth Vader. So being the hero mindset, it doesn't mean you need to be a superhero. And notice that this was not called audition superhero. None of us have superhero tendencies, although I have the blur. I do have that ability. That's real. We're heroes, but that just means there's skills and mindset and things that you need to learn. It might mean a skill you need to learn, a craft you need to learn. It might mean a little more experience. It might mean you meeting your guide, you meeting your mentor, your coach, you meeting your Tom Todoroff, and finding someone who has been there. And the guide is someone who's been a hero so many times. They've been in those situations so many times that now they can help other people get there. Brandon, this is a good time. Can you bring up the hero's journey slide? All right. You might need to make this big on your devices. Make it as big as you can, Brandon. I'll try and make mine big here too. So here's the story's journey. And the amazing thing, this is why I love speaking in terms of audition hero, because you got to be the only hero in our lives. But a lot of you, the roles that you want in TV and film are often, if you want a lead role, you're going to end up being the hero of a story. Although some of us love to play villains too. Villains are fun on screen. Don't be a villain in your real life. Be a hero in your real life or a guide. Never be a victim. But in film, sometimes you might want to be a hero or a villain. And so hero's journey, I love this because there's so much parallel between real life and movie life. You start, and I'm going to use Frodo as an example. I know Deanna Shinsky loves Lord of the Rings. So Frodo, what's he doing? Chilling in the Shire, living the life. What does he do? He was cutting grass or something. He's taking care of, just working, hanging out with his buddies, drinking that Shire ale, smoking that Shire weed, just having fun with, what's his name? Who's his buddy? Sam. Yes, Sam. Sam and Frodo. And all of a sudden, who comes out of nowhere? Gandalf the Grey. and is like, oh, fuck, the world's going to hell, the ring of power, blah, blah, blah. You're the guy. And he's like, what the fuck? I'm not the guy. I'm just a little hobbit here in Hobbit Town. I'm not the guy. I don't have any of that. Refusal of the call. So refusal of the call is, not for me. Now, some of us, maybe you've already done this. Maybe for the people who aren't actors yet, you've thought about this, hopefully, maybe for many, many years. But the fact, if you haven't quite made that leap, or maybe some of you have been an actor, but you've never released your day job. So there's some push and pull of you wanting what's on the other side of the hero's journey, but resistance of you refusing to quite answer that call. Why? Because it's scary as fuck. So you meet that mentor, though, you're Gandalf, who's like, here, hold my hand, hold my arm, I'm going to take you. Crossing the threshold. You remember in Lord of the Rings, they got to that point, Sam and Frodo, where they were like, oh shit, this is the farthest we've ever been away from the Shire. And for some of you, that might mean you move overseas, or crossing the threshold might mean you leave your old job behind. Some of you, that might mean crossing the threshold into a conservatory or into a training situation where all of a sudden now you're in uncharted territory. So boom, second act. This is where the adventure comes in. What happens in second act? All these tests, you're going to meet allies like here today. All of a sudden you're on this journey. I'm on a journey right now. And I want to tell all of you, I'm not a guy. I'm in today's context, I'm a guide, but I'm still a hero, just like all of you. I'm still figuring this out. I'm still on my own hero's journey, but simultaneously I've been able to be a guide as well. But on my journey, now all of a sudden I have all these allies from around the world through workshops and conservatory, where I know people around the world because of this. So I've got a team and a network and a community of people. You might have enemies. Now, where are these enemies coming from? Unfortunately, most of them are in your own mind. You may also have people in your life, and you got to protect yourself from those people. And just realize this, could be a spouse, could be a brother, sister, could be a parent. Oh, you're never going to make it. When are you ever going to do this? Oh, just you need to go back to school, get your head out of the clouds. When are you going to get a real job? All those kind of things. And the thing that I would urge you to do is remember that hopefully most of those people, the reason that they're saying that is out of love. They just don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see you hurt. But often it's because they themselves aren't on their own hero journey. So they'll have a feeling where it's uncomfortable to see someone change and grow. Because what happens if you do get the dream of your life and all the life of your dreams, and all of a sudden you're off, and then you leave them behind in their boring old regular life, then you're gone. So some of that resistance might be just because they want to keep you around. But the enemy in your own head. So we got to eliminate the enemy in our own head. So all of those self-doubts, negative self-talk, all of that imposter syndrome, know that it's so natural and it's so human. It's a human experience. Doesn't matter who you are. Guaranteed Meryl Streep right now at some point in the last 6 months was like, oh, what the fuck am I doing? Can I even do this? Meanwhile, she got a mantle full of Oscars. So it is normal, but you want to shut that voice up as quickly as possible and clock this. Think about your own self-doubt and your own struggles and the things you say to yourself, and ask yourself, would you accept someone that you didn't know saying that to you, or someone that you do know? Imagine yourself saying, I'm never going to book a lead role, or, oh, that sucked. I'm no good. Imagine if someone you didn't know came up and was like, you suck as an actor. You're never going to book a role. Hopefully you'd say to that person, fuck you. So you need to tell that person, that negative person in your mind, the enemy of your own mind, to fuck off every once in a while. So that inner cave, in Star Wars, the inner cave is, remember when he's in Dagobah and he goes into that murky cave and he sees Darth Vader and he fights Darth Vader and he beheads Darth Vader, and the head rolls off and Vader's head opens and it's Luke's head inside. So he's like, oh, I see. Sometimes the dragon you need to slay is the dragons in your own head. The ordeal, the big test, seizing the reward, and that death and rebirth. So Some of you on the call right now, you need to allow a past self, a past version of yourself to die and leave that person behind. It might be like an inner child type self. Take care of them and love that inner child self. But you might need to be saying, you know what? You served your purpose, but I need to say goodbye to you and I need to become someone else. And then the third act, what do you do? That's the road back home. That's when you're resurrected, atonement. You bring back the magic elixir to the town. You have the big celebration. You have the wrap party. You invite all your friends to your mansion. Uh, and you show them your Emmys and your Oscar on your mantle. And then you're off to the races. So that's the hero's journey. But it begins with a mindset. So really today is all about stepping up to become the hero in your own journey and in your own life, so that once you become the hero in your own life, you can be cast in these brilliant productions where they need a hero to step up in film and in that story. Brandon, can you roll that video?